A fair trade certification is a product certification within the market-based movement Fairtrade. The most widely used fair trade certification is FLO International's the International Fair Trade Certification Mark, used in Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia and New Zealand. Fairtrade Certified Mark is the North American equivalent of the International Fair Trade Certification Mark. As of January 2011, there were over 1,000 companies certified to the FLO International certification and a further 1,000 are certified to other ethical and fair trade certification schemes around the world. The Fairtrade International certification system covers a wide range of products, including banana, coffee, cocoa, cotton, cane sugar, flowers and plants, honey, dried fruit, fruit juices, herbs, spices, tea, nuts and vegetables. These commodities have different locations of production and number of farmers and workers covered for production and distribution. How it works. Fairtrade is a strategy for poverty alleviation and sustainable development, aiming at creating greater equity in the international trading system, through trading partnerships with marginalized farmers and craftspeople in developing countries. Social and economic opportunities are created for these producers in a way that more customers are accessible to the products and a better deal is issued. In return, the producers have to comply with all the standards laid down by Fairtrade International. In reality, packers in developed countries pay a fee to the Fairtrade organization for the right to use the Fairtrade certification logo. Importers of Fairtrade certified products are required to pay exporters a price higher than the market price of non-Fairtrade certified products, so as to cover the additional costs used by Fairtrade certified firms in marketing and inspection. Any surplus after paying these costs must be used for local social, environmental and economic projects. Fairtrade standards. Fairtrade standards are designed to aid the sustainable development of some smaller producers and agricultural workers in third world countries. In order to become certified Fairtrade producers, the cooperatives and the fellow farmers have to strictly comply with the standards laid down by Fairtrade International. FLO Cert, the for-profit side, is responsible for inspecting and certifying producer organizations in more than 70 countries in Europe, Asia, Africa and Latin America. The general standards set for different stakeholders are listed as follows. Small producer organizations. The majority of the members of the organization must be small-scale producers who do not highly depend on hired workers, but run the farm mainly by their own effort. Any profits earned must be equally distributed among the producers. Every member in the organization should have the right to vote in the decision-making process. Hired labor workers possess the right to join an independent union to collectively bargain the working conditions. No forced child labor. Working conditions have to be equitable for all workers. Salaries must be at least equal or higher than the minimum wage in effect. Safety and health measures must be implemented properly so as to avoid unwanted injuries at work. Trade standards pay a price higher than the fair trade minimum price in order to cover the costs of sustainable production. Pay an additional amount of money that allows producers to invest in development, the fair trade premium. Sign contracts that assist long-term planning and sustainable production practices. Fair trade pricing. The fair trade system mainly consists of two types of pricing, which are the minimum price and the premium. These are paid to the exporters according to the proportion of output companies are able to sell with the brand Fairtrade certified, typically ranging from 17% to up to 60% of the turnover in some cases. The Fairtrade minimum price is a guaranteed price, as well as the minimum price that must be paid by buyers to Fairtrade certified producers. It is a floor price that covers producers' average cost of of production, aiming at protecting producers from selling the products underpriced. The fair trade premium is a sum of money which is paid on top of the payment for the products. Its use is restricted to investment in the producer's business, livelihood, and the socio-economic development of the workers. The producers have the largest power deciding how these funds are to be spent. How fair trade measures its impact. The fair trade system has committed to a program of monitoring, evaluation and learning, which aims at generating recommendations and analysis in support of greater effectiveness and impact. Ongoing market progress is monitored by market-facing organizations present in countries where fair trade certified products are sold. Market data is consolidated by Fairtrade International on an annual basis. These data are gathered to form a core basis for the understanding of the dynamics of how certification is developing, and how the impacts of fair trade are being distributed between producer organizations, geographies and products. Fair trade's governance bodies also review key results and evaluate regularly in order to improve strategy and decision-making. These results are publicized within staff throughout the fair trade system and relevant stakeholders for further discussion of findings and recommendations. Criticisms. Little money reaches the farmers. The Fairtrade Foundation does not monitor how much of the extra amount of money paid to exporters reaches the farmers, as the cooperatives incur relatively heavy fees on inspection, certification and marketing. Only a small amount of money is retained for the farmers. In general, Fairtrade producers are only able to sell 18% to 37% of their output as Fairtrade certified over years, while the rest is sold as uncertified at the market prices. Fairtrade helps the rich to a larger extent. Fairtrade is profitable for traders in rich countries rather than that in poor countries. In order to qualify as Fairtrade producers, cooperatives must meet the strict standards set by Fairtrade International, implying that the fellow farmers must be quite skillful and educated. However, it is criticized that these farmers are predominantly from poorest countries, thus lacking the power to bargain with the cooperatives. Corruption even occurs in some cases. Inefficient marketing system. There have been complaints that fair trade certified products should not be sold through a monotonist cooperative because it may be inefficient and corruption easily takes place. Fair trade farmers should have the right to choose the buyer who offers the best price, or switch when their cooperatives are going bankrupt. Other certification and product labelings. The Fair Trade Federation does not certify individual products but instead evaluates an entire business. The FLO Mark, launched in 2004 by World Fair Trade Organization, and identifies registered fair trade organizations. Certified is a coffee certification program that has sometimes been dubbed Fair Trade Light. Counterculture. Direct trade certification is a direct trade alternative to the fair trade certification. Whole Trade Guarantee, a purchasing initiative launched in 2007 by Whole Foods Market,